Dear viewers, Namaskar. Welcome to this edition of the News Bulletin. In the headlines today, SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant pays rich tributes to Bharat Ratna Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his Mahaparinirvan Divas. SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant wins the prestigious Green Tech Award 2021 for environment protection.
Chemical Disaster Prevention Day observed at SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant. Karmavir Award function held at Coal Rolling Mill Department of SAIL RSP.
SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant so far supplies more than 7,000 tons of steel to Indian Navy. Health camp organized in the industrial slums by SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant.
SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant maintains the ascent in production trend, registers best ever performance in key areas during April-November for year 2022. Shrujani Mela Cum Award function held at Public Relations Department of SAIL RSP.
Inhouse Technical Magazine Innovators inaugurated at SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant. SAIL RSP joins hand with NIT Rourkela in introducing West to Wealth, an organic farming project for women farmers of peripheral villages.
Antihijack mock exercise held at Rourkela Airport of SAIL RSP. Winners of quiz competition on COVID awareness awarded at SAIL RSP.
Now the news in detail. SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant paid rich tributes to Bharat Ratna Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his Mahaparinirvan Divas on 6th December 2021. In a program organized at the Ambedkar Enclave Sector 17 Chowk, Mr. P.K. Satpathy, ED P&A RSP, along with Mr. A.K. Nayak, CGM TA and CSR, Mr. P.K. Das, GM in charge Town Services, Mr. B.K. Raut, GM PH and SW, and other senior officers of the steel plant offered flowers at the statue of the legendary statesman fondly remembered as Baba Saheb. Mr. S.C. Paricha, Vice President, SAIL SC and ST Employees Federation, RSP, Mr. Bhagavan Sethi, President, SAIL SC and ST Employees Federation, RSP, and other office bearers of the Federation, office bearers and members of Sarva Samanmaya Sangha were also present on the occasion to pay tribute to the great leader and maker of Indian Constitution. Remembering the immeasurable contributions of Dr. Ambedkar to the country, Mr. Satpathy said, "We remain indebted to the great leader for the significant role he played in nation building and achieving social harmony and social justice." Mr. A.K. Nayak in his address highlighted the vision and philosophies of Baba Saheb and urged all to imbibe his teachings and to create the society of his dreams. Mr. S.C. Paricha anchored the program, while Mr. Bhagavan Sethi proposed a formal vote of thanks. Mr. Bivabasu Malik, DGM Town Services and Liaison Officer for SC, ST, PWD and EWS coordinated the entire program. It is noteworthy that the nation is observing Mahaparinirvan Divas on the death anniversary of Dr. Ambedkar as part of the major commemoration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. A program was also organized at Ispat Vidya Mandir of RSP to mark the day. Mr. P.K. Das presided over the session. Professor S.P. Tripathi, former principal Ispat Autonomous College, was the keynote speaker on the occasion and delivered an eloquent talk on Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and his contributions. The dignitaries presented awards to students who won in competitions organized earlier to commemorate the day. The theme of the competitions were Idea of Nation Building. Mr. K. Nayak, AGM Education, coordinated the function. Notably, RSP is organizing several other events to mark the occasion, including an essay writing competition for employees. SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant has won the prestigious Green Tech Environment Award 2021 for outstanding achievements in environment protection. The award was presented to the leading steel producer of the region at the annual Green Tech Award function held in Mahabalipuram, Tamil Nadu on 26 November 2021. Mr. R.K. Patra, CGM SMS1 and Mr. P.C. Das, GM in charge EMD, RSP, received the award on behalf of the plant from Mr. Rajiv Bhadoria, Managing Partner, Ebullient, Co-founder, MyTransform.com, and Mr. K. Sharan, Chairman and CEO, Green Tech Foundation. In a function organized at Manthan Conference Hall on 6th December, Mr. Amarendu Prakash, DIC Bokaro Steel Plant and Rourkela Steel Plant congratulated the RSP collective for winning the prestigious award and encouraged all to make the operations of the steel plant even more eco-friendly and in tune with the national and international guidelines. The coveted award has been presented to RSP in recognition of its remarkable performance in environment management. Notably, the steel plant in its illustrious journey of more than 6 decades has been nurturing environment in tandem with contributing its bit to nation building with the might of steel. As a responsible corporate, RSP has taken effective steps to minimize pollution, enhance recycling of wastes and adoption of cleaner technologies to achieve a sustainable way of manufacturing steel and living in harmony with nature as well. From adoption of environment-friendly, latest state-of-the-art technologies in the production chain to effective use of 4R with reduce, reuse, recycle and recover for conservation of energy and natural resources, RSP has been adopting a multi-pronged approach for the effective protection of environment. RSP has installed various air pollution control equipments with electrostatic precipitators, bag houses, dust suppression systems, dry fog dust suppression systems, wet fog dust suppression systems for control of air pollution. Use of good quality raw materials, adopting standard operating practices and standard maintenance practices and regular maintenance of pollution control equipment have resulted in maintaining a clean atmosphere both inside and outside the plant. The ambient air qualities of the steel plant areas are monitored continuously and are well within the statutory norms. The steel plant has also taken adequate steps for treatment of its industrial effluent as well as domestic effluent. The steel plant has been making dedicated efforts to create carbon sinks in the region. Plantation of around 51 lakh trees and development of 40 beautiful gardens and parks both inside the plant and in the steel township are eloquent examples of the commitment of RSP towards Mother Nature.
A program was organized at Coal Chemicals Department CCD of SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant RSP on 4th December to mark Chemical Disaster Prevention Day. Mr. I. Rajan, CGM in charge CO and CC, chaired the program. Mr. B.K. Tiwari, GM in charge CCD, Mr. S.K. Ghosh, GM CCD Operation, and other senior officers of Cocovins, CO and CCD were present on the occasion. The program was attended by executives, employees and contract labour from CO, CCD and Safety Engineering Department, SED. Chemical Safety Pledge in Odia, Hindi and English was administered to all those present on the occasion. In his address, Mr. Rajan elaborated on different types of hazards of CO and CC areas and necessary steps to follow to prevent any chemical disaster. Mr. Tiwari spoke on the importance of SOPs in the safe handling of chemicals, while Mr. Ghosh urged the collective to maintain the safety standards to avoid any kind of accident. Mr. M.K. Panigrahi, DSO and Senior Manager CCD Operation, coordinated the program with the support of Mr. Ravi Panigrahi, ASO SED. It is noteworthy that Coal Chemicals Department of RSP handles a wide variety of chemicals, including hazardous gases, acids and alkalis. Reaffirming the commitment of the plant to occupational safety and health, The department has been adopting a standard procedure for the safe and effective management of all products. The integrated strategy for prevention of chemical incidents include hazard identification and risk assessment, maintaining facilities as per engineering practices and statutory guidelines, following safe practices during handling of chemicals, emergency preparedness, training and awareness of workmen and other stakeholders. The department has been maintaining a vast network of more than 5 kilometers of fuel gas pipeline through structured scheduled inspections, thickness testing and replacement of thin lines. The department has replaced about 2,000-meter pipelines in the last 1 year alone. Besides, inspection of chemical storage tanks is being carried out and maintenance activities are planned as per requirement. Pumping facilities are maintained for safe handling of chemical. Adherence to SOPs is being ensured and the employees are being trained on SOPs and SMPs. Mock drills are being conducted to assess the preparedness for emergency situations, which are also reviewed and necessary actions are taken to improve effectiveness. The department is maintaining occupational health and safety management system as per standard and is certified with ISO 45001. A Karamveer Award function was held at Coal Rolling Mill Department of SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant on 2nd December 2021. Mr. N.R. Das, GM in charge CRM, presided over the function and handed over the award to Mr. Suresh Chandra Mahanta, Senior Operator CRM Crane. Present on the occasion were other senior officers and staff of the department. Mr. Mahanta was awarded for his dedication and organizing skills. The program was coordinated by Mr. P.K. Sarkar, Assistant Manager Personnel.
While celebrating the gallantry and fearless service of Indian Navy on the occasion of Navy Day, SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant takes pride in its long-lasting association with it. The steel plant has so far supplied more than 7,000 tons of tailor-made steel adhering to stringent quality specifications for use in various naval applications. It is worth mentioning here that for construction of surface ships and submarines as part of their ongoing programs and also for the maintenance of the existing ones, Indian Navy requires large quantity of various grades of steel and related weld consumables. Difficulties were being encountered in the import and procurement of these steels and consumables, since the quantities required in many cases were not large and due to embargo by certain countries. Hence, it was decided to develop these superior quality steels in India. The special plate plant of RSP that is dedicated to make defense and navy grade steel has been relentlessly working towards developing newer grades of customized steel that can absorb high ballistic impact. These high quality steel are being developed with years of research, technological and process modifications, as well as several rounds of testing. The steel plant has supplied special grade high tensile DMR 249A grade, low carbon low alloyed 249B grade and submarine grade 249-301 AB3 steel for various prestigious projects for the Indian Navy. It is worth mentioning here that the DMR 249B steel, which is used for the flight deck of aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, has the ability to take the repeated impact of 20-30 ton fighter aircraft landing. INS Vikrant, the first indigenous aircraft carrier, INS Kamorta, the first indigenous anti-submarine corvette, and INS Vishakhapatnam, the first indigenous steel-glided missile destroyer, has got a little bit of Rourkela Steel Plant in them. SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant is committed to the health and well-being of its employees as well as the deprived service providers of the industrial township. To make the healthcare facility accessible to the needy, the CSR department of RSP, in collaboration with Ispat General Hospital, has been organizing health checkup camps at different locations both within and outside the township on a regular basis. On 3rd December 2021, a health camp was organized at Baikunt Ghat Basti, Sector 20 for the residents of the area through the Mobile Medical Unit. Mr. Dushmant Pradhan DGM CSR coordinated the camp and interacted with the patients. More than 150 people were examined and treated by Dr. Mrs. Dipti Balanayak Medicine and Dr. Yogesh Pediatrician. Biochemistry blood tests were also carried out and random blood samples were collected to assess the health issues prevalent in the area necessary for taking appropriate precautionary measures. Medicines as per prescription of the doctors was distributed free of cost to the patients.
Rourkela Steel Plant, a unit of the Maharatna Company SAIL, maintained the ascent in production trend in key areas to register the best April-November performance in for year 2021-22. In the first 8 months of the current financial year, the steel plant produced 28,33,497 tons of hot metal, 26,27,072 tons of crude steel and 24,07,509 tons of saleable steel to clock a year-over-year growth of 25.2%, 25% and 26.2% respectively. The earlier best April-November performance in all these key areas were achieved in for year 2018-19. Besides, different mills of RSP exhibited brilliant performance to bolster the overall performance of the plant. The steel plant produced 11,90,542 tons of total HR coils, 3,56,082 tons of plate mill plates and 6,14,306 tons of new plate mill plates to register the highest ever April-November performance. With an all-time high production of 45,88,307 tons of sinter during the first 8 months of the current fiscal, the sinter plants complemented the success story. The oven pushing form coke oven battery 6 also witnessed the best ever figure of 88.4 in the above period. The gross dispatch of the steel plant also excelled in tandem with production. RSP dispatched 37,84,278 tons of saleable steel to clock the best ever figure in the first 8 months since inception, with plate mill, new plate mill and HR coil for sale registering the best ever dispatches simultaneously. RSP registered an overall growth of 22.8% in dispatch over CPLY. Mr. Amrindu Prakash, Director in charge BSL and RSP, while congratulating the collective over the consistent improvement in the performance, has said, "The continuous growth in the production trend signifies our determined efforts. Let's move ahead and renewed vigor and scale new heights of success." A Shrujani Mela cum award function was organized at the Public Relations Department of SAIL, Rourkela Steel Plant on 2nd December 2021. Mrs. Archana Satpathy, DGM PR and COC, presided over the function and handed over the awards. Present on the occasion were Mr. B.K. Behera, AGM IED, Ms. Subhra Rajeshwari, Assistant Manager Personnel, and other officers and employees of the department. Speaking on the occasion, Mrs. Satpathy commended the enthusiastic response of the employees towards Shrujani function and encouraged all to set a benchmark with regard to employee suggestions ratio. Mr. B.K. Behera elaborated on the status of Shrujani Creativity Scheme in the department. In all, 19 suggestions were awarded on the occasion, of which 12 have already been implemented. Cash award to the tune of Rs 3,350 were distributed. Among 60 fresh suggestions were collected during the Mela. At the outset, Ms. Lolati Topo, Senior Manager PR Rajbhasha, welcomed the gathering, while Mr. Shashank Patnaik, Assistant Manager PR, proposed a formal vote of thanks. Mr. Swami Ranjan Biswal, Manager PR, coordinated the program.
At a function organized in CGM Mechanical Office recently, Mr. A.V. Rajsekhar, the then CGM Mechanical, released the in-house technical magazine Innovators, revived under the guidance of Mr. S.R. Suryavanshi, ED Works. Present on the occasion were members of the editorial team, Ms. Nivedita Roy, GM Design, Mr. Manish Kumar, Manager Design, Mr. Ajay Barua, Manager Design, Mr. Uday Nath Samasi and Mr. Satyajit Lahiri of Design Department. The Inhouse magazine, which has been published after a gap of about 16 years, will be serving as a forum for dissemination of knowledge on latest technical know-how, documentation of new ideas implemented during reconditioning, revamping of major equipment of the plant to prevent reinvention of wheel each time, and other topics of technical interest. This time the magazine has a quiz section to be answered by the readers with a provision for an award on a first come first serve entry with all correct answers. The next issue of this in-house technical magazine is due in January 2022 for Q3 of 2021. Members of the technical fraternity of Rourkela Steel Plant may contribute articles for the next issue and submit the same by 10th January 2022. The publication activity is being coordinated by Design Department Collective. A training program on waste to wealth sustainable organic farming techniques was introduced at SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant on 30th November 2021. Mr. P.K. Satpathy, ED PNA of RSP and Professor Simanchala Panigrahi, Director NIT Rourkela, were present at the inaugural function organized at the Institute of Peripheral Development, Sector 20, and inaugurated the vermicompost unit to mark the commencement of the project. Ms. Munmun Mitra, GM in charge, CSR, Professor Nihar Ranjan Mishra, NIT Rourkela, Professor Ramachandra Pradhan, NIT Rourkela were also present on the dais. Mr. P.K. Satpathy highlighted the importance of organic farming and its relevance in modern day of genetically modified seeds and adulterated food items with special reference to the healthy living. Professor Panigrahi emphasized upon the advantages and need of student involvement and in networking for better result. The joint venture, taken up at the approximate cost of Rs 45 lakhs, is spread over a period of 48 months. It aims at addressing the common interest of both RSP and NIT in terms of agriculture by creating organic farming sites at different locations of RSP peripheral areas and horticulture department areas. Plans are afoot to cover about 700 women farmers from periphery villages in this project by educating and giving them hands-on training in various facets of organic farming like vermicomposting, biopesticides, better utilization of land, maintaining soil health, etc. The project is also designed to facilitate technology transfer scientifically and promote research and development along with creation of market linkages, linkages with self-help groups and government and other agencies.
An anti-hijack mock exercise was organized at Rourkela Airport of SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant on 1st December 2021. Mr. Divya Jyoti Parida, ADM Rourkela and Commissioner, Rourkela Municipal Corporation chaired the Airport Security Committee meeting and witnessed the whole exercise. Mr. P.K. Dash, GM in charge Town Services, RSP, Mr. S.S. Bhoi, Additional Commissioner RMC, Mr. B.K. Bhoi, Additional SP Rourkela, other senior officers of District Administration, District Police, Central Industrial Security Force, Airport Authority of India, IOCL, Intelligence Bureau, BSNL and RSP were present in the session. Notably, the exercise was to check the efficacy of the contingency plan and the procedure to deal with any case of hijacking threat involving the airport. The exercise was in accordance with the circular issued by Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. The mock drill involved personnel from state police including bomb squad and commandos, fire service teams of RSP and Orissa government, medical team of IGH and different other government agencies. All the teams worked in close coordination enacting the successful rescue operation of the hijacked plane. A debriefing session was held and the whole exercise was reviewed by the senior officers led by Mr. Parida after the completion of the mock drill. earlier, Mr. B.K. Roth, GM, and Airport Director welcomed the gathering and presented a brief about the importance of the entire exercise. Mr. Hemant Kumar, Manager, AAI, made an elaborate presentation on the standard operating practice to deal with many scenarios arising out of any unlawful activities of hijacking of plane. He eloquently presented details about the contingency plan to handle such scenario with integrated response system. Mr. B.K. Roth coordinated the entire event and also proposed a formal vote of thanks at the end of the mock drill. The Personnel Department of SAIL Rourkela Steel Plant has been taking proactive actions to curb the inroad of the anticipated third wave of COVID-19 pandemic. It has been conducting several employee engagement programs with an objective to create awareness about COVID-19 pandemic so that the employees can deal with any exigencies arising from the possible third wave armed with more information and insight. On 27 November 2021, a prize distribution ceremony was organized at ED Projects Conference Hall to felicitate the winners of quiz competition held earlier. Mr. A.K. Pradhan, ED Projects, presided over the function and handed over the prizes. Present on the occasion were Mr. P.K. Sahu, CGM Projects, Mr. A.N. Mishra, CGM Projects, Mr. Dhirendra Mishra, GM in charge, Personal Works, Mr. Sanjay Mehrotra, GM Personal, and other senior officers and employees of RSP. The first position was bagged by the team comprising Mr. Santosh Kumar Das, OCT HSM2, and Mr. Jagannath Jena, OCT of HSM1. The second position was held by the team comprising Mr. Yanish Kumar Naik, MOMT, and Mr. Jitendra Nath Pandey, MOMT, both of SMS2, while the third position went to the team comprising Mr. Ayeshkanta Sahu, OCT of CP2, and Mr. Rakesh Kumar Mohapatra of Roll Shop Department. The first consolation prize was won by the team comprising Mr. Santanu Kumar Mohanty, Senior Executive Assistant, and Mr. Premananda Swine, Physiotherapist of MNHS Department. The second consolation prize went to by Mr. Prasad Kumar Bhutia, OCT, and Mr. Santosh Kumar Ray, OCT, while the third consolation prize was bagged by Mr. Rajiv Dash, Operator, and Mr. Vijay Kumar Panda, Operator, all from our Blast Furnace Department. In all, 24 participants contested in 12 teams in the quiz conducted on the theme of COVID-19. The award winners were given certificates and prize money. The quiz masters were Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Behra, Manager Personnel, Ms. Simpi Patel, Assistant Manager Personnel, and Ms. Shubhra Rajeshwari, Assistant Manager Personnel. The quiz masters were also felicitated in the award function by ED Projects. The function was coordinated by Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Behra, Manager Personnel.
Welcome to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.